Hey everyone, welcome back to SwitchTop. Today, I'm counting down the top 30 Nintendo Switch games you absolutely need to play this year. These games represent the best experiences you can have on the console right now, whether you're into action, RPGs, platformers, or just chilling with friends. Let's get into it. Final Fantasy X/10-2 HD Remaster. Final Fantasy X takes you to the world of Spira, where you play as Tidus, a star athlete who gets transported 1,000 years into the future and joins a summoner named Yuna on her pilgrimage to defeat a massive creature called Sin that terrorizes the world. The turn-based combat uses the conditional turn-based system, where you can see the turn order and plan your strategy accordingly, with each of your 7 party members having distinct roles, like Tidus being fast and evasive, while Auron hits like a truck. The sphere grid progression system lets you customize each character's growth path by spending points to unlock stat boosts and new abilities on an interconnected board. 10-2 follows 2 years later with a completely different vibe, featuring Yuna and her friends as sphere hunters in a more upbeat adventure with a job-changing system that lets you swap classes mid-battle for dynamic combat. Both games look fantastic on Switch, with the HD Remaster treatment, smooth performance in handheld mode, and the complete package includes all bonus content and optional super bosses that'll challenge even veteran players. CrossCode is an action RPG that puts you in the shoes of Leah, a player in a fictional MMO called Crossworlds who wakes up with amnesia and can only say hi at first. The game brilliantly captures the feel of playing an MMO while being a single-player experience, complete with other players running around, dungeon raids, and trading systems. Combat is fast-paced and feels like a mix of old-school Zelda and bullet hell shooters, where you're throwing your boomerang-like projectile at enemies while dodging incoming attacks in real time. You'll unlock different elemental modes that change your combat abilities and are essential for solving environmental puzzles in the game's complex dungeons. The puzzle design is genuinely challenging and requires you to think about timing, positioning, and using your abilities creatively. As you progress through the story, Leah slowly regains her ability to speak, and you uncover the mystery of what happened to her and why she's trapped in the game. The pixel art is gorgeous, with detailed environments and smooth animations. Plus, the soundtrack is absolutely phenomenal, with tracks that'll stick in your head long after you stop playing. Blaster Master 03 concludes the trilogy by sending Jason and Eve into space as they chase after a mutant invasion threatening the entire galaxy. You'll pilot the battle tank Sophia 3 through side-scrolling levels, while also hopping out for top-down dungeon sections where Jason explores on foot with his blaster. The game introduces the VRV system, which lets Sophia transform and gain new abilities by absorbing defeated mutants, completely changing how you approach combat and exploration. There's a super-dimensional warp system that adds roguelike elements, where you jump between dimensions to find upgrades and resources, adding replayability and variety to the campaign. The counter system returns, where perfectly timed shots deal massive damage, rewarding skillful play and making boss fights incredibly satisfying when you nail the timing. The story wraps up the trilogy's narrative about Jason and Eve's relationship and the origin of the mutant threat, without dragging on too long. Visually, it maintains that NES-inspired aesthetic, but with modern flourishes, and the performance is flawless on Switch, whether you're playing docked or handheld, making it perfect for quick sessions or long exploration runs. Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen, drops you into a fantasy world where a dragon rips your heart out, turning you into the Arisen, and you must hunt it down to reclaim what was taken. The combat system is incredibly dynamic, with 9 different classes ranging from sword and shield fighters to magic archers and sorcerers who cast massive spells that take time but devastate everything on screen. You can climb onto large enemies Shadow of the Colossus style, hanging onto griffins and cyclops while stabbing weak points or trying not to get thrown off. The pawn system is unique, where you create a customizable AI companion and can recruit 2 more from other players online, each with their own learned behaviors and knowledge of enemy weaknesses. Your pawns learn from experience, so if they've fought an enemy before, they'll call out tactics and weak points during battle. The world feels lived in, with dynamic weather, a day-night cycle that completely changes enemy placements, and certain quests only available at specific times. Dark Arisen includes the expansion content, with an entire new dungeon that offers some of the toughest challenges in the game. Shovel Knight Shovel of Hope is the original campaign that started it all, putting you in control of the titular shovel-wielding knight on a quest to rescue his partner Shield Knight from the evil enchantress and her Order of No Quarter. The gameplay is pure NES-era platforming, with tight controls where you use your shovel to attack enemies, bounce on hazards pogo stick style, and dig up treasure hidden throughout the levels. Each stage is themed around one of the Order of No Quarter bosses, with unique gimmicks like Plague Knight's alchemy lab filled with explosive hazards, or Propeller Knight's airship with wind mechanics. You'll collect gold to buy upgrades, new armors that change your playstyle, and special relics that consume magic to unleash powerful abilities like summoning a mobile platform or turning invincible briefly. The checkpoints are destructible, so you can smash them for extra gold, but risk having to replay more of the level if you die, adding a risk-reward element. There are multiple paths through levels, with hidden rooms and optional challenges that reward thorough exploration. Bollock's Pit is a fast-paced roguelite that fuses physics-driven brick-breaking chaos with layered progression and light base building into an addictive loop. The core gameplay drops players into a vast vertical pit where adventurers launch bouncing orbs upward through dense waves of enemies, blending classic Breakout-style physics with modern roguelite sensibilities. Each run emphasizes momentum and positioning as balls ricochet across the arena, triggering elemental effects, explosions, and chain reactions that can be upgraded, fused, or transformed mid-descent, dramatically reshaping playstyles from one attempt to the next. Combat escalates quickly, with increasingly aggressive enemy patterns and screen-filling boss encounters that reward smart build choices as much as reflexes. Between runs, progression shifts to rebuilding the ruined city of Balbalon, where gathered resources unlock new heroes with distinct mechanics, construct buildings that enhance long-term bonuses, and improve starting conditions, giving each failure a tangible sense of advancement. Trails to Azure is the sequel to Trails from Zero, and concludes the Crossbell arc in the massive Trails series, following Lloyd Bannigs and the Special Support Section as they face escalating political tensions and a conspiracy that threatens their city-state. The story is heavily focused on political intrigue, character relationships, and world building, with events from previous games in the series coming to a head in dramatic ways that longtime fans will appreciate. Combat uses a turn-based system with a tactical grid where positioning matters, and the order of turns affects what bonuses you get, like critical hits or healing when your turn comes up. Each character has unique crafts that use CP generated through combat, while arts are magical spells that require casting time but can be incredibly powerful when used strategically. The Master Quartz system lets you equip gems that define your character's stat growth and unlock powerful abilities as they level up, allowing for diverse build options. The game is structured around chapters, where you take on various support requests around Crossbell, solving mysteries and helping citizens while the main plot unfolds. Shredder's Revenge is a love letter to classic TMNT beat-em-ups, particularly Turtles in Time, where the Foot Clan is causing chaos across New York, and the turtles must fight their way through iconic locations to stop Shredder. The game nails that arcade brawler feel, with satisfying melee combat where each of the 6 playable characters, including the 4 turtles, Splinter, and April, has their own movesets and special abilities. You've got your standard attacks, jump kicks, and a special move that damages all nearby enemies, but costs some health to use, encouraging you to use it strategically rather than spam it. The dodge roll is a crucial addition that lets you avoid damage and adds more depth to the combat compared to older beat-em-ups that could feel button mashy. There's a leveling system where you unlock new moves and stat boosts as you progress, giving you a sense of growth across the campaign. The story mode can be played solo or with up to 6 players locally or online, and the game is honestly balanced for co-op chaos, where everyone's attacking at once and trying to rack up the highest score. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim puts you in the role of the Dragonborn, someone with the power to absorb dragon souls and use their ancient shouts, as you navigate a civil war in the Nordic province of Skyrim while an ancient dragon named Alduin threatens to destroy the world. The open world design lets you ignore the main quest entirely and just explore, with literally hundreds of hours of content between side quests, guild storylines, dungeon crawling, and random encounters. The leveling system is based on what you actually use, so swinging swords increases your weapon skills, casting spells boosts magic, and sneaking around makes you a better thief, with perks unlocked as skills increase to specialize your character. Combat can be played first-person or third-person with one-handed weapons, two-handed weapons, dual wielding, magic in both hands, or sword and spell combinations, giving you tons of playstyle options. Dragon Shouts are special abilities you unlock by finding word walls hidden throughout the world and absorbing dragon souls, ranging from slowing time to summoning storms or forcing enemies back with your voice.
Death to the Empire! Let me see if I can get...
Dark Souls Remastered is the game that defined the modern action RPG formula. And it's absolutely brutal, but fair in ways that make every victory feel earned. You're an undead, chosen to ring 2 bells of awakening and potentially link the fire to extend the Age of Fire. But the story is intentionally vague, with most lore hidden in item descriptions and environmental storytelling. The combat is methodical and deliberate, where every attack, dodge, and block consumes stamina that regenerates when you're not acting, forcing you to commit to your actions and think strategically rather than button mash. You'll die constantly, but each death teaches you something about enemy patterns, trap placements, or your own mistakes. And when you die, you drop all your souls, which serve as both currency and experience points. The interconnected world design is genius, where areas loop back on each other, and unlocking shortcuts creates satisfying moments when you realize how everything connects. There are no difficulty settings or quest markers, just you figuring out where to go and how to overcome the challenges through pattern recognition and skill improvement. The class system gives you different starting stats and equipment, but you can build your character however you want by leveling up specific stats and finding weapons that scale with those stats. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the definitive platform fighter, with over 80 characters from gaming history, from Mario and Link to Cloud, Sephiroth, and even Kazuya from Tekken. The core gameplay is about knocking opponents off the stage rather than depleting a health bar, where each hit increases their damage percentage, making them fly farther with each subsequent attack. Every character has a unique moveset, with standard attacks, special moves mapped to the B button plus directions, grabs, shields, and dodges that create endless depth for competitive play or casual fun. The game features over 100 stages from various franchises, with different layouts, hazards, and sizes that can dramatically change how matches play out. Spirit Board and World of Light modes add single-player content where you collect spirits that power up your fighters and unlock new challenges. Online play lets you fight players worldwide with various rule sets, though the netcode can be inconsistent depending on connection quality. Classic mode gives each character their own themed route, with unique battles and boss fights that reference their game series. Animal Crossing New Horizons puts you on a deserted island as part of Tom Nook's Getaway Package, where you build your island paradise from scratch. The game runs in real time, synced to your system clock, so the time of day and season in-game matches real life, with different bugs, fish, and events appearing throughout the year. Your daily routine involves gathering resources like wood and stone, catching creatures for the museum, talking to your animal villagers who each have distinct personalities, and decorating your island however you want. The crafting system lets you create furniture, tools, and decorations using materials you collect, with recipes found through various activities or given by villagers. Terraforming unlocks after progressing the story and lets you completely reshape your island by creating cliffs, rivers, and paths exactly where you want them. You can visit friends' islands online or locally, trade items, and share custom designs for clothing and decorations. The game's appeal is in its chill, no-pressure gameplay, where there's no way to fail and you progress at your own pace. Seasonal events like Halloween, Toy Day, and the Cherry Blossom Festival add limited-time activities and items to collect. Persona 5 Royal casts you as a high school student who transfers to Tokyo and discovers the ability to enter the metaverse, a cognitive world where people's distorted desires manifest as palaces. You form the Phantom Thieves with other students who've awakened to their personas, manifestations of their inner selves that let them fight shadows and change corrupt hearts. The game splits time between dungeon crawling through stylized palaces and living your daily life as a student, where you attend school, build relationships, work part-time jobs, and improve your social stats. Combat is turn-based, where exploiting enemy weaknesses grants extra turns, encouraging you to switch between party members and their various elemental personas strategically. The social link system has you building relationships with confidants, which unlocks new abilities and powers up your personas when you fuse them in the Velvet Room. Time management is crucial, since every action takes time, and you need to balance dungeon exploration with social activities before deadlines. The Royal version adds a new semester, additional party member Kasumi, more personas, quality of life improvements, and expanded content that enhances the original's already massive 100-plus hour story.
Persona! Go down!
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the complete edition of the series' most refined entry, with 48 tracks, anti-gravity sections that let you drive on walls and ceilings, and a roster of over 40 characters. The racing mechanics are accessible enough for anyone to pick up, while having enough depth with techniques like drifting for speed boosts, using items strategically, and learning optimal racing lines to satisfy competitive players. Anti-gravity segments completely change track design by adding vertical loops, sideways sections, and moments where bumping into other racers gives everyone a speed boost. The item balance has been tweaked so players in last place get stronger items like Bullet Bill or Lightning, while leaders mostly get defensive options like coins or bananas. Battle mode returns with dedicated arenas and multiple game types, including Balloon Battle, where you pop opponents' balloons, Bomb Blast with only explosive items, and Renegade Roundup, where one team captures the other. The Booster Course Pass DLC adds 48 additional tracks, doubling the game's content with courses from previous Mario Kart games and new tracks, making it an incredible value. Online multiplayer lets you race against players worldwide with tournaments and time trials, while local wireless supports up to 8 Switches racing together. Bayonetta 2 brings back the Umbra Witch as she battles angels and demons through heaven, hell, and everything in between after her friend Jean's soul gets dragged to hell. The combat is built around the witch time mechanic, where perfectly dodging enemy attacks at the last second slows down time, letting you unleash devastating combos while enemies move in slow motion. You have 2 weapons equipped at once, one for hands and one for feet, with combinations like katanas and whips, or guns and hammers that drastically change your attack patterns. Wicked Weaves are powerful finishing moves where Bayonetta summons demonic limbs to punch or stomp enemies, and torture attacks let you execute hurt foes with over-the-top guillotines and Iron Maidens for extra damage and style points. The game throws increasingly absurd scenarios at you, from fighting a giant dragon on a falling skyscraper to battling on top of a fighter jet, all while maintaining silky smooth 60 frames per second gameplay. Between combat encounters, you'll solve light environmental puzzles and explore levels for hidden collectibles like health upgrades and new accessories that grant passive abilities. Octopath Traveler 2 follows 8 new protagonists across the continent of Solistia, each with their own story, ranging from a merchant seeking revenge to a scholar uncovering ancient secrets. The game uses a turn-based combat system where you can see enemy turn order and exploit weaknesses by breaking their shield points with specific weapon or spell types, stunning them and dealing massive damage during their vulnerable state. Each character has a unique path action they can use in towns like Throne, stealing items from NPCs, or Oswald, scrutinizing townsfolk for information, creating different ways to solve problems and find hidden content. The job system lets you assign secondary classes to characters, mixing and matching abilities to create powerful combinations, like a warrior who can cast healing spells or a hunter with merchant skills. Latent powers are character-specific ultimate abilities that charge during battle and can turn the tide when used strategically. The day and night cycle affects NPC locations, available path actions, and even which enemies appear in dungeons, encouraging you to revisit areas at different times.
What's our plan of attack? My spear shall strike through!
My turn.
Super Mario Bros. Wonder takes the 2D Mario formula to the Flower Kingdom, where Prince Florian's castle gets merged with Bowser through a Wonder Flower, and you need to collect Wonder Seeds to restore the kingdom. The Wonder Flowers are the game's standout feature, transforming levels in completely unpredictable ways when touched, like turning Mario into a Goomba horde, making pipes sprout legs and walk around, or changing the entire art style mid-level. Each transformation is unique to that level and creates genuine surprise moments where you genuinely don't know what'll happen next. The new elephant power-up lets you use your trunk to spray water, grab objects from a distance, and smash through blocks, while the bubble power-up creates bubbles that trap enemies and can be used as platforms. Badge system adds another layer, where you equip one badge before starting a level that grants abilities like dolphin kick swimming, starting with a power-up, or auto-grabbing the top of the flagpole. With 12 playable characters including Yoshi, Nabbit, and different colored toads, each with unique characteristics, there's variety in how you approach levels.
Peraí, então tem como chegar lá? Plantas que andam, pode isso? Quase tão estranho quanto
Astral Chain puts you as a rookie officer in Neuron, a special police force fighting interdimensional beings called chimeras that are corrupting humanity's last city called the Ark. You control both your character and a legion simultaneously, a captured chimera bound to your service through the Astral Chain, with 5 different legion types that completely change combat and exploration. The Sword Legion focuses on quick combos and can cut through barriers. The Arrow Legion attacks from range and creates pathways. The Arm Legion breaks heavy shields. The Beast Legion lets you ride it for speed and tracking, and the Axe Legion is slow but powerful for defense. Combat has you attacking with your police baton while positioning your legion to create sync attacks, wrapping the chain around enemies to bind them, or coordinating assault with both characters attacking simultaneously. Between action sequences, you'll investigate cases by examining crime scenes, interviewing witnesses, and using Legion abilities to find hidden clues or access restricted areas. The game has a surprising amount of side content with optional missions, challenges to complete for higher ranks, and collectibles scattered throughout levels. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom continues directly after Breath of the Wild, with Link and Zelda discovering an ancient evil beneath Hyrule Castle that awakens and causes catastrophic damage to the kingdom. Link loses his arm, but gains new abilities from a mysterious entity, and Hyrule is now 3 layers: the familiar ground level, vast underground depths filled with darkness and danger, and floating sky islands hovering above. The new abilities completely change how you interact with the world, starting with Ultra Hand, which lets you grab and rotate objects to build contraptions like vehicles, bridges, or weapons. Fuse allows you to attach materials to weapons, dramatically increasing their durability and power while creating unique effects like ice damage or explosive arrows. Ascend lets Link phase through ceilings to reach higher areas, and Recall reverses an object's movement through time, which solves puzzles and can send falling boulders back at enemies. These abilities combine in countless ways to solve shrines and navigate the world without a single correct solution, encouraging experimentation. Kirby's return to Dreamland Deluxe brings the Wii Classic to Switch, with additional content where Kirby and friends help an alien named Magolor repair his ship by collecting energy spheres scattered across planet Popstar. The core gameplay is classic Kirby, where you inhale enemies to copy their abilities, with over 25 copy abilities, ranging from Sword and Fire to more specialized ones like Tornado and Leaf that completely change your moveset. Each ability has multiple attacks, and some have super moves that deal heavy damage when fully charged, adding depth beyond just mashing the attack button. The game is designed for cooperative play, with up to 4 players controlling Kirby, Meta Knight, King Dedede, and Bandana Waddle Dee, each with unique abilities and attacks that make them play differently. Mecha and Sand copy abilities are brand new to the Deluxe version, with Mecha letting you transform into a robotic suit with missiles and charge attacks, while Sand controls particles for mid-range combat and defense. Super abilities appear occasionally, giving you screen-clearing, ultra-powerful forms for short bursts that destroy massive obstacles and reveal hidden paths. Sonic Mania Plus is a love letter to the classic Genesis-era Sonic games, featuring both reimagined versions of iconic zones like Green Hill and Chemical Plant, alongside completely new stages designed with the same philosophy. The gameplay is pure 2D platforming, where momentum is everything, with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles each having unique abilities, like Sonic's Drop Dash that lets you rev up a spin dash in mid-air for instant speed on landing. The Plus version adds 2 more playable characters, Mighty the Armadillo, who can ground pound and has a shell that protects him from spikes, and Ray the Flying Squirrel, who can glide through the air to reach alternate paths. Each zone has 2 acts, with the second act featuring a unique boss fight that often references classic Sonic encounters with creative twists. The level design is phenomenal, with multiple routes through each stage rewarding skilled players who maintain speed, while also hiding secrets for those who explore thoroughly. Time Attack mode lets you race through stages for best times, and Competition mode brings back split-screen racing against friends. Encore mode remixes the main game with altered level layouts, different color palettes, and a live system where you swap between characters as you collect them throughout stages. Bayonetta 3 has the Umbra Witch facing her biggest threat yet, as alternate universe versions of herself are being hunted down by mysterious beings called homunculi. The combat evolves with Demon Slave, where you directly control massive demons like Gamora the Dragon or Phantasmarene the Spider during battle, positioning them to attack, while Bayonetta herself remains vulnerable and must be protected. You can still trigger Witch Time by dodging at the last second to slow enemies, but now you're managing both Bayonetta's combos and your demon's attacks simultaneously, adding a new layer of strategy. Bayonetta has multiple weapons equipped at once, with different combinations creating unique movesets, and you can instantly switch between weapon sets mid-combo for extended attack strings. The game introduces Viola, a new playable character who fights with a katana and her demon cat Cheshire, using a parry-based Witch Time instead of dodging, which completely changes the combat rhythm when you control her. The story jumps between different dimensions, with Bayonetta visiting various alternate realities, each with distinct visual styles and environmental hazards. Naive Angel Mode tones down the game's suggestive elements for those who want to focus purely on the action. Super Mario Party Jamboree brings the party game series back with 7 boards ranging from classic square layouts to more dynamic designs, where the board itself changes as you play. The core gameplay loop has players rolling dice to move around boards collecting coins and stars, with the goal being to have the most stars when the game ends after a set number of turns. Character-specific dice blocks return, where each playable character has their own unique die that offers different risk-reward options, like Bowser's die having multiple high rolls but also multiple zero spaces. Jamboree adds the Jamboree Buddy system, where you can recruit companion characters that travel with you, granting special abilities and adding their die roll to your own for increased movement. Over 110 minigames are included, spanning every type of challenge, from button-mashing races to memory games and motion control competitions, with new games designed specifically for Switch hardware. Online play is fully featured this time, letting you play full board games with friends or random players, not just minigames like previous entries. The new Coupathlon mode has up to 20 players racing through a gauntlet of minigames to reach the finish line first, creating a chaotic, competitive marathon. Stardew Valley has you inheriting your grandfather's old farm in Pelican Town, escaping corporate life to build a new existence, farming, fishing, mining, and becoming part of the small community. Your daily routine involves tending crops that grow in real time over multiple in-game days, raising animals like chickens and cows for products, and managing your limited energy that depletes with each action you take. The mines provide combat and resource gathering, where you fight slimes and bugs while descending deeper to find valuable ores for upgrading your tools and crafting better equipment. Building relationships with the town's residents happens through conversations and giving them gifts they like, with each character having unique schedules, preferences, and storylines that unfold as your friendship grows. You can eventually marry one of 12 eligible bachelors or bachelorettes, and they'll move onto your farm helping with daily tasks. Seasonal festivals occur throughout the year, offering unique activities and items, while the changing seasons affect which crops can grow and what fish are available. The Community Center provides long-term goals through bundles, where you donate specific items to unlock rewards and restore the town. Or you can side with Joja Corporation for a more streamlined but less rewarding path. Rogue Legacy 2 is a roguelike platformer where you explore an ever-changing castle, and when you die, your heir continues the journey with gold earned used to permanently upgrade your stats and unlock new classes. Each heir has a randomly generated class, like Knight, Barbarian, or Gunslinger, with unique weapons and abilities, plus traits that can be helpful, neutral, or challenging, like Gigantism, making you huge, or Vertigo, flipping the screen. The castle is divided into multiple biomes, each with distinct enemies, hazards, and platforming challenges that require you to adapt your approach based on your current class and traits. Combat is fast and responsive, with each class having different attack patterns, movement options, and special abilities that completely change how you engage enemies. The permanent progression system lets you spend gold between runs on stat upgrades, new classes, and abilities, while souls are used to unlock permanent equipment that you equip before starting a run. Fairy chests scattered throughout require you to complete challenges, like not taking damage or defeating all enemies to open, rewarding skill with bonus gold. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door is a remake of the GameCube classic, where Mario searches for the 7 crystal stars while trying to rescue Princess Peach from the secret society called the X-Nauts. The game blends platforming exploration with turn-based combat, where timing button presses during attacks and guards increases damage dealt and reduces damage taken, keeping you engaged during every battle. Partners join you throughout the adventure, like Goombella, who provides enemy information and can flip switches, or Koops, whose shell can hit distant objects and activate mechanisms. The badge system lets you customize Mario's abilities by equipping badges that grant new moves, stat boosts, or change how combat works, with limited BP, meaning you need to choose your loadout carefully. Each chapter takes you to a completely different location with unique themes, like a fighting tournament, a train mystery, or a tropical island, keeping the adventure fresh throughout. The paper aesthetic is used cleverly, with Mario rolling into tubes, turning sideways to slip through cracks, and folding into various forms to solve environmental puzzles. Audience members appear during battles and react to your performance, and you can appeal to them to restore star power, used for special moves that can turn the tide of difficult fights. Super Mario Odyssey sends Mario across various kingdoms in his airship to stop Bowser from forcibly marrying Princess Peach and collecting power moons to fuel the Odyssey. The revolutionary capture mechanic lets Mario throw his sentient hat Cappy to possess enemies and objects, taking control of everything from Goombas and T-Rexes to electrical wires and slabs of meat. Each captured creature or object has unique abilities that completely change how you navigate and solve puzzles, like using a bullet bill to break through walls or becoming a tank to destroy obstacles. The kingdoms you visit are massive sandbox environments, from the urban New Donk City with realistic humans to the tropical Seaside Kingdom and the spooky Ruined Kingdom, each packed with moons hidden everywhere. Over 800 power moons are scattered across all kingdoms, with some in plain sight, others requiring difficult platforming challenges, and many found through creative thinking and thorough exploration. Mario's movement is incredibly fluid, with the expanded moveset including cap bounces, dive jumps, and roll cancels that let skilled players chain moves together for faster traversal. After beating the main story, each kingdom expands with new areas, additional moons, and harder challenges that significantly extend the game. Pokémon Legends Arceus takes place in ancient Hisui before it became the Sinnoh region, where Pokémon are feared, and you're tasked with creating the area's first Pokédex. The gameplay completely reinvents the Pokémon formula, with open zones where wild Pokémon roam freely and you can catch them by sneaking close and throwing Pokéballs without entering battle, though aggressive Pokémon will attack you directly in the overworld. Combat uses a turn order system where speed stats and move styles determine who goes next, with strong style moves dealing more damage but attacking slower, while agile style moves are weaker but let you attack faster and potentially twice in a row. Your Pokédex isn't completed just by catching Pokémon, but by completing research tasks, like seeing them use specific moves a certain number of times or catching them at different times of day. The story involves investigating mysterious space-time distortions and encountering the deity Pokémon Arceus while dealing with frenzied noble Pokémon that must be calmed through action-oriented boss battles where you dodge attacks and throw balm. Alpha Pokémon are larger, stronger versions of normal species with red glowing eyes that pose serious threats early on, but provide valuable catches if you can defeat or capture them. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition brings the Wii Classic to Switch with improved visuals and includes the future-connected epilogue following Shulk as he wields the Monado sword and fights to save his world from mechanical beings called Mechon. The entire game takes place on two massive titans frozen in combat, the Bionis and Mechonis, with each location built on different parts of their bodies, creating diverse environments from grassy fields to mechanical fortresses. Combat happens in real time, where you control one character while AI handles your party, with each character having unique abilities called arts that have cooldown timers and positional requirements for maximum effectiveness. The Monado gives Shulk visions of the future during battle, showing when enemies will use devastating attacks, and you can warn allies or use Monado arts to counter these visions and change fate. The affinity system tracks relationships between party members and NPCs, with higher affinity unlocking new quests, better shop inventory, and heart-to-hearts where characters have meaningful conversations at scenic locations. Side quests are abundant throughout the world, with hundreds of optional objectives, though many involve simple fetch or combat tasks, but completing them builds colony affinity and unlocks valuable rewards. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild revolutionized open-world design by dropping you into a massive version of Hyrule where you can go anywhere you see from the moment you leave the tutorial area. Link awakens after a 100-year sleep to find Hyrule in ruins, with Princess Zelda holding Calamity Ganon at bay inside Hyrule Castle, and you must grow strong enough to defeat him by freeing the 4 divine beasts. The physics-based chemistry engine lets you interact with the world logically, where fire spreads through grass, metal conducts electricity, ice melts near flames, and you can combine these systems creatively to solve puzzles and create your own solutions. You can climb virtually any surface as long as you have stamina, paraglide from heights, and shield surf down slopes, making traversal itself part of the fun as you chart your own path. Weapon durability means everything breaks eventually, including swords, spears, and bows, forcing you to constantly adapt and try new equipment rather than relying on one weapon throughout the game. Shrines are mini-dungeons scattered across Hyrule, containing physics puzzles or combat trials that reward spirit orbs used to increase health or stamina, with 120 total shrines offering bite-sized challenges perfect for portable play. And that's the top 30 Nintendo Switch games you should be playing in 2026. From fighters and racers to action games and RPGs, the Switch library has something for everyone. Let me know in the comments which of these games is your favorite, or if there's a game you think should have made the list. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe to SwitchTop for more Nintendo Switch content. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.